Hello, I'm Caleb from Lunar and today we're going to talk about how to set up your security cameras and some considerations about it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the dead space and the blind spots. So what is dead space? Dead space is going to be something that you cannot see. So that would be, let's take your garage for example, and then you have a camper on the other side of your garage. So what would that dead space be? The dead space would be on the other side of the camper. So the one with the side that's not closest to the garage, that would be dead space. Dead space would also be maybe in between that area. Then your blind spots. Your blind spots are going to be stuff where you have cameras where you have coverage, and that coverage is going to be, and so to speak, you might have one facing your house from a garage and you have another corner where it's like just barely overlapping, and you just can't get all of it with the type of camera system you have. If you have a 360 camera, that's a different story, but we're just talking about regular cameras, pan tilt zoom. And so those are the types of dead spaces and blind spots you have. Blind spots. Then you need to optimize your lighting for night and shadows. So shadows, let's go over night. Nighttime is pretty easy, and thermal cameras are pretty expensive. So what's something you can do? You can, maybe put up a little like sidewalk lights down below, and you can use that to illuminate what they're wearing, so it's easier for the camera to get footage of those persons. Then we have the shadows. If you know how to defeat a camera system, if you know how camera systems work, camera system works by you have, let's say this is your camera. Light comes in, receives, and then puts it on the display. So if you're in the shadows, light is not being pushed into the camera system, and so that's why it's easier for you to hide in the shadows if a drone is flying above you. But if you're inside the shadow looking out with a camera, you can still collect information based on that. So that's why we need to optimize the lighting for those situations. High traffic areas. High traffic areas are going to be your sidewalks, your driveway, your roads, and your alleyways. And it's pretty much simple. Try and cover all that area so that you can kind of deter people from coming up to you and looking inside your cars, looking inside your house, your windows, or peeping through that door. And then one thing we're going to cover is your doors, your windows, entry points. These entry points, like I stated before, doors and windows, is something that a person with ill intent is wanting to break and enter into your house when you're there or when you're not there. And so cover those and make sure they have the appropriate security systems in place so it actually can notify you to see if those have been broken into. Then we're going to go over your placing your cameras at high points and maybe car level or standing height so that you can gather their face. So average height of a man, probably put it at 5'7" to 6 foot. So once we have this camera placed in that range, what you're going to do is we'll do a ring camera for your entry point to the front door. So that'd be a good spot. If you have, let's say, another bullet camera, let's say if you have a little gate around your house and you place a little bullet camera in the front of it, so it's kind of recessed, but you still can see the person, but they're at car level, and it still has enough field of view to actually see their face as well. Then we go up to the high point. We get to if you have a 2-story house, place it on the highest point of the two-story house, and make sure you aim it at, try and get as much as you can of the sidewalk and from the, I would say from the edge of your road, or just half of the road, and in, get as much as you can just for your protection, so you have the best clarity for your camera, so it's not grainy. Then we can go to the first floor, so place it on the corners, right? Still nice little high points. So then you're going to want to cover the sidewalks, the roads, the driveways, your entry points, your windows, the doors, however many doors you have, any exterior doors. And then if you have a garage, place maybe a camera that is looking at your garage so it covers your cars, and then I'd place a camera in the back as well to cover that blind spot back there, and maybe some of that dead space. So what you're going to do now is you're going to monitor. Pretty easiest, all you're going to do is sit there, look at the camera, awesome. But most of us are going to be reviewing the camera footage because we only review once something bad's happened. So let's try and take a little preemptive step. Let's analyze and gather some intelligence and create a pattern of life. How many times did that red truck, that red van, that fucking blue car, pardon my French, that blue car or that person on a bike has rode past? Are they actually neighbors? Then you can kind of discount that because, well, obviously they live right next to you. Do they live around the block? And then you want to kind of cut out the outliers from there. And you can just take an hour out of the week, get off your phone, just look at your camera system. And then something else, the last thing that we can do is we can adjust right here. So let's see, we adjust these cameras and then we decide we don't like these areas. So if we have a PTZ camera, then it's just a simple move over there. I like that spot a little bit more. If you have a fixed camera, then you might have to get on a ladder and adjust the camera a little bit while you have, if you have somebody else that's living with you, they can go inside, they can look at the monitor, and then you're on the phone, you're like, hey, I like this spot, is this good? And you're like, yep, that's good. Or if you're just yourself, then you just place it, and then you walk down and go to your security station, little home room. You can place that wherever you want it. Just don't let anybody know where it's located. And then other than that, thank you. Have a good day. Be safe out there.